the 2013 HVL championship game, the 20th playing of the game. And we are back. Lake City Tigers pregame show. It is the Tigers and the Bears. It's the HVL championship game, and it is coming up at 7 o'clock. We're happy to have you with us for the pregame show. It's the first of its type we've ever done before, so hopefully we can, hopefully it's a success, and maybe we'll have one of these the next couple of years too, but we'll find out. Well, we're going to review the program now. The Lake City Tigers had a pretty successful season as a whole this year. They have 5 levels of basketball. We'll start with our 7th graders. The head coach of the 7th grade team is Luther Birkeland. And Luther guided his boys to a 17-2 record, and the 2 losses were pretty close ones. The 7th graders, I saw them play once or twice this year. They've got a lot of really exciting young players down there. Mark Chose, the point guard, is Matthew Chose from the JV team's younger brother, and he's quite a playmaker. And Brennan Rothgarn and Parker Scherhammer and Thomas Huddle and Stachel Ekblad and the whole crew they had a fun year, and they are a very solid foundation for the Tigers as we go forward here in the future. So congratulations to the 7th grade Tigers, a very successful season. The 8th grade Tigers had a little bit of a rough go of it. They finished 4-15. Head coach Trevor Narum was at the helm there. The 8th graders didn't have one of their fellow classmates on the team. That was Mitch Marine. He was up with the C squad all year. The record maybe not what they would have wanted it to be, but the games were usually close, and Tigers just couldn't find the right shots to end the games a lot of the time. The 9th grade squad was headed by Lucas Brott, and Lucas guided his team to an 8-13 mark. They were 4-8 in HVL Blue Division play. The 9th grade class has a lot of its members playing at different levels. We have, Matt Chose and Jesse Oliver and Brady Kahinka and Eli Custer all playing JV or varsity. So the 9th grade boys learned how to win without them. It's an important process, and they didn't finish with a winning record, but 8 wins is not too bad, and hopefully they can build on that on the JV level next year. We had actually hoped to bring you a 9th grade game, but we were unable to because we got snowed out yesterday. We were going to show you all our teams that play here at the high school. That wasn't the case. Wasn't meant to be. It was snowed out. We go now to the JV team, and Coach Leo Fausch, we think, completed his final campaign, his final and 42nd year as a Lake City Tigers coach, his 41st as the JV coach. He guided his team to another winning record and another double-digit win season, a 13-10 mark. It was 6-6 in HVL Blue Division play. And Coach Fausch, we wish him all the best in his retirement, if in fact that is what comes to pass. So Coach Fausch will of course be helping Sean Sweeney, the varsity coach, on the bench for the Tigers playoff run and in tonight's HVL championship game as well. Then we get to our varsity squad, and we're going to We're going to spend a little bit more time on them. We'll do a game-by-game recap. We'll talk about the high score and what the game meant at the time. We'll take us right up to tonight's game. The varsity Tigers finished 20-3 under head coach Sean Sweeney. It's also Sean's final season at the helm of the program. He will step down after 8 seasons, and he has over 100 wins and will finish with a winning record as the boys' head coach. We're going to pause and take a 30-second break, and then we're going to dive into the Tigers season recap. We're going to find out how we got to this point and talk about some fun moments along the way. Maybe you'll remember a few of them if you tuned in, because some of them happened right here at home. So we'll be back in about 30 seconds. Thanks for joining us. We hope you stay with us. This is the Lake City Tiger pregame show in front of the 20th HVL championship game. And we are back here in Lincoln High School, the gymnasium. They're prepping the game for the HVL title game, and it's going to be a good one. It's the Tigers and the Byron Bears, and it's the 20th HVL title game, and well, we hope to bring you a fun and enjoyable evening of basketball. Well, we're going to look back now on the 2012-13 season for the Lake City Tigers. We're going to briefly go game by game, and we'll talk about the high scores and some big plays that happened. The Tigers opened the season on November 30th, 2012. It was down at Dover Iota High School in Iota, Minnesota. Tigers walked away with a 58-40 win. Ben Shramsky led the Tigers with 19 points, and his fellow senior Jake Griebenow chipped in 16 as well. Freshman sensation Brady Kahinka played in his very first game as a varsity basketball player, and Brady notched 10 points in that. For the Eagles, the high scorer was Gunnar Schwartz. He had 10. Tigers returned home the very next night, December 1st. They played the Kingsland Knights, and they beat the Knights 61-45. They were led by a game-high 13 points from senior Mitch Kahinka, and Ben Shramsky had 12 on his own. Kingsland led by Jacob Rindles. He had 13 points, including 3 triples. The win was followed a nice back-to-back opening weekend for the Tigers, as they were 2-0, and they had 2 wins over section opponents. The Tigers then traveled. Well, they didn't travel anywhere. They stayed in Lake City, and they played the Ellsworth Panthers from Wisconsin, non-conference matchup. They beat the Panthers 69-53. Tigers were led by Reed Lundell and his 17 points. Jake Griebenow tossed in 14 for the Tigers. Christian Kulo, the point guard for the Ellsworth Panthers, he had the most points in the game. He had 22, but it was not enough as the Tigers came away with a relatively easy victory. Tigers traveled down to Winona Cotter on December 11th. They were dealt their first loss of the year, 53-51. They lost it on a running basket by Kyle Kerrigan with about 5 seconds to go. They tried a inbound play to get Brady Kahinka a long three, and it just tickled the bottom of the net, and the Tigers were unable to win down in Winona Cotter. It was their first loss of the year. Tigers were led by Jake Griebenow with 21 points. Ben Shramsky had 17 and Reed Lundell 11. The aforementioned Kyle Kerrigan had 10 for the winning Ramblers, who not predicted to do much. The Ramblers actually put together a pretty solid campaign. So I'm sure